and then the next night made her Connecticut debut at Dallas. This is her second stint with the
Rickea and Brittney.
Oh, look out! Griner and Jackson.
Sophie Cunningham getting involved.
Natasha Cloud having some words. There's Griner. She's still upset. So is Jackson. Haven't seen her get this riled up this year either.
Brittney Griner just got kicked out of a game, and you won't believe what she did next. While most players would head to the locker room, Griner grabbed her phone and started firing back at trolls on Instagram. Yeah, right in the middle of the game. Talk about multitasking. But let's rewind a bit. Picture this. It's a high-stakes game between Griner and Rickea Jackson. The tension's so thick you could cut it with a knife. Both teams are going at it hard, and you can feel the intensity in the air. Then, out of nowhere, during a free throw, bam! Griner's elbow connects with Jackson's face. The crowd goes wild. Players are shocked. Refs are blowing whistles left and right. It's pure chaos on the court. But here's where things get really interesting. Griner's about to get ejected, right? But instead of just walking off, she's got something else in mind. You ready for this? 'Cause what happens next is gonna blow your mind. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. The refs have made their call, but Griner's not done playing. Instead of sulking on the bench, she's about to take on a whole new opponent. Ever wonder what happens when a pro athlete decides to battle internet trolls mid-game? Griner's about to show us, and it's not pretty. So picture this. Griner and Jackson are going at it on the court. The tension's through the roof. Suddenly, Jackson pushes Griner, and all hell breaks loose. Griner's not one to back down, and she's ready to throw hands. Her teammates have to hold her back. It's pure chaos out there. Now, usually when a player gets ejected, they storm off to the locker room, maybe throw a towel, kick a trash can, but Griner, she's got other plans. As soon as she's off the court, she grabs her phone. Yeah, you heard that right. Her phone. While her team's still battling it out on the hardwood, Griner's starting a whole different kind of fight. She jumps on Instagram and starts firing back at the trolls. Can you believe it? Most players would be cooling off or watching the game, but not Griner. She's out here multitasking like a boss. And let me tell you, she's not holding back. One of her spicy comebacks? They want to try me and they can get this action. Griner's showing these trolls that she's not just tough on the court, she's got a sharp tongue too. This isn't your typical pro athlete behavior. Most players are told to stay off social media, especially during games. But the WNBA, they do things differently. These women aren't afraid to clap back at haters in real time. It's wild to think about. One minute, Griner's in the heat of a professional basketball game. The next, she's in a Twitter war. Talk about going from one battlefield to another. This whole situation shows just how unique the WNBA culture is. These players don't just let the trolls have their say. They fight back, they stand up for themselves. And apparently, they do it right in the middle of a game. You think Griner's outburst was intense? That's just the tip of the iceberg. The Phoenix Mercury has a reputation that's hotter than the Arizona desert. How hot? Let's just say they're racking up technical fouls faster than points. The Mercury isn't just any WNBA team. They're like the bad boys of basketball, but with a feminine twist. These ladies are collecting technical fouls like they're Pokemon cards. It's not just Griner. The whole starting five is in on the action. Picture this. You've got Griner with 5 technicals, and Diana Taurasi leading the pack with 7. That's right, 7. It's like they're competing to see who can get the most. The rest of the starting lineup, they're not far behind. Now you might be thinking, is this a good thing? Well, that's the million-dollar question. On one hand, it's giving the Mercury this tough, gritty image. They're not afraid to get physical, to push back, to stand their ground. It's making their games must-watch TV. I mean, who doesn't love a little drama with their basketball? But here's the flip side. All these technicals could be costing them. Every time they lose their cool, it's free throws for the other team. Not to mention the fines that come with it. It's like they're playing with fire, and sometimes they're getting burned. This aggressive style is part of what makes the Mercury, well, the Mercury. It's in their DNA. They're not just playing basketball. They're going to war out there. Every game is a battle, and they're ready to fight tooth and nail. So when you see Griner getting ejected and jumping on Instagram to clap back at trolls, it's not just a Griner thing. It's a Mercury thing. It's like their whole team motto is, we're not here to make friends, we're here to win. But here's what's really wild. The The fans are eating it up. The Mercury's games are like watching a soap opera unfold on the court. You never know what's going to happen next. Will there be another ejection, another technical, another social media showdown? It's turning the WNBA into must-see TV. These women aren't just athletes, they're personalities. They're bringing a whole new level of entertainment to the sport, and love it or hate it, you can't deny it's making waves. Now, you might think these social media spats are just harmless fun, but here's the kicker. They're part of a much bigger issue that's got the WNBA divided. Some say it's empowering, others say it's destroying the league's image. What's really going on behind those fiery Instagram posts? Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The WNBA's troll problem. It's not just Griner firing back at haters. This is happening all over the league. Players are going toe-to-toe with online trolls like it's their second job. It's wild, right? Imagine this. You're scrolling through Instagram and bam, there's your favorite WNBA star. Not posting highlight reels, but trading insults with some random dude in the comments. That's the reality of the WNBA right now. It's like a whole new sport, social media showdowns. But here's where things get tricky. Some people love it. They're grabbing popcorn and enjoying the show. It's entertaining. It's real. It's raw. These players aren't just names on a jersey anymore. They're real people with real feelings, and they're not afraid to show it. On the flip side, you've got folks shaking their heads. They're worried this back and forth with trolls is making the league look bad. It's like, are we here for basketball or drama? Some fans are wondering if all this online beef is taking away from the game itself. And you know what's crazier? The league's kind of stuck in the middle. They want their players to have a voice, to stand up for themselves. But at the same time, they're probably sweating bullets every time a player hits that reply button. It's like walking a tightrope between empowerment and image control. This whole situation is changing how fans interact with the league. It's not just about watching games anymore. Now, you're part of this whole ecosystem of tweets, posts, and clapbacks. It's making the WNBA feel more personal, more accessible. But is that always a good thing? Some say this is exactly what the WNBA needs. It's getting people talking, bringing in new fans. Others worry it's overshadowing the actual basketball. Are we more interested in who said what on Twitter than who scored what on the court? Here's the thing. This isn't just about the WNBA. This is a peek into the future of sports. We're seeing a new kind of athlete emerge. One who's not just a player, but a personality, a brand, a voice. It's changing the game, both on and off the court. So Griner's elbow to Jackson's face led to chaos on the court and a wild social media showdown. But this isn't just about one player losing her cool. It's a peek into the WNBA's unique culture, where players aren't afraid to show their personalities and stand up to trolls. Think about it. 1 minute, Griner's battling on the court. The next, she's firing back at haters on Instagram. It's like watching two games at once, basketball and social media chess. And the fans? They can't get enough of it. But here's the big question. Is this the future of sports? Are we heading towards a world where athletes are part-time players, part-time online warriors? It's changing how we see these players, making them more than just names on jerseys. The game's evolving both on and off the court, and we're all front-row witnesses to this wild ride.